Hel- Hello. I was like, I don't know if I'm live or if I'm not. What's up, everybody? I am here. Somebody's like, are you there? Yes, I am here. What's up, everybody? I wanted to jump on today because I was supposed to come on last night on Monday, and everything was going on with my work. I ended up working a little bit late, and I ended up doing some interviews for my podcast. So I didn't end up jumping on, but I wanted to make sure I jumped on today and just do a credit Q&A because that's the thing that I've been getting the most questions about all throughout January in my DMs on Instagram and on YouTube. Just so many questions about credit, which is crazy. Welcome, Valeria. She says first time watching. So happy to have you. So I've been doing live every Monday in January. This week I didn't get to do Monday, so I'm doing Tuesday. And this week I just decided to do a credit Q&A. So if you have questions about credit, throw them in the chat box and I will definitely help answer them. I feel like the biggest questions that I get, like specifically this week in my DMs, I've been getting a lot of questions about how to increase their credit score fast. Like, what's the best ways? What's the fastest ways? And a lot of people are wondering, like, collections, how to deal with collections. And there's also a lot of mixed information online about like what you can get rid of and what you can't, what you should and shouldn't do. So I think it's kind of weird when a lot of people they assume that they're supposed to do something or not supposed to do something. And that actually is not a good thing. It's like the opposite of the best advice for credit. So I'll answer a couple questions and then I'll peace out. I'm gonna try to stay on here for more than like 20 or 30 minutes. But oh, Valeria said, just got a credit card in December. So excited. That's amazing. So you already know if you just got a credit card, you have to start strong. As soon as you get that first credit card bill, make sure it's paid in full. Do not leave any balance on that credit card. That's the biggest number one mistake people make. It's like a misconception that a lot of people believe that for some reason they believe that you need to carry over some balance from one month to the next month. Like at least leave $5, leave $10 because then it shows them that you're going to pay something. No, that's false. That's a lie. I don't know why people made that up, where that came from. The only thing you do when you leave a balance on your credit card from one month to the next, the only thing you're doing is paying interest. Like that's all. You're not doing anything to establish your credit. The best way to establish credit is to use your credit card to buy something, and which is borrowing money, and then pay it back in full on time. Boom, that's it. It's that simple. And I wish more people understood how simple it really is to actually have good credit. It's really not hard. You just have to, from the beginning, you have to make sure you don't make any mistakes. No late payments. Don't let your bill roll over to the next month. Don't make, don't miss a payment completely and forget about it. These are the types of things that will obviously mess up your credit score. Jonathan said he saw me on NerdWallet. Oh, that's what's up. Yes, actually, just today, NerdWallet launched a video where I actually jumped on and spoke to Sarah, who works at NerdWallet. She's like a financial planner, and she spoke to me about net worth. And we just went back and forth and discussed net worth, like what were my net worth goals? What does net worth mean? And we just kind of unpacked the ideas around net worth and how to increase your net worth. So that was a really cool video. That was a project that I did earlier this month and they just launched it today. If you guys want to check it out, I posted it on my community board. So after this, if you want a quick video to watch about net worth, and I think they also have a link to a net worth tracker in the video. So if you want to calculate your net worth and see where you are, like how much money you actually have, aside from all your debts, after like taking away all your debts from everything that you own, then you can use, I think they have that free tracker there, which is great. All right, let's see. It's Smiley 139. How can I increase my credit score after paying off all debts, being at a 500? Listen, I was at a 550, and the reason why I was at a 550 was because I had so much debt that I didn't pay on my credit cards. So it seems like you just finished paying off your debt, maybe because you said after paying off all debts. So what I would say is after you finish paying off all your debt, you should see a boost to your credit because you already you finish paying off debt. And so now your credit cards, specifically when I'm talking about credit cards here, your credit cards have available credit limit available for you to use. The more available credit you have that you're not using, the better your credit score is going to be. So as soon as you pay off your credit card balances that you owe, you're going to see immediately a huge jump in your score. The second thing that you need to know is like probably the biggest thing for your score is like in terms of like increasing your score really fast is age of credit, which is one of the things a lot of people don't realize. Like making your payments on time is definitely number one. You don't want no late payments. That's 35% of your score. Making sure utilization is right, not spending more than 10% of what you have available, and making sure you always pay your bill on time every month and like never have more than 10%. that's going to be 30%. So that's the second most important thing. But you can't really affect payment like history. You can't go back in time and make a payment not be late. If it was already late, it's already late. Like that's it. So I always tell people the two things you could do right now, today, to make your credit score increase really fast is pay down any credit card debt or other debts that you have. Pay it as fast as you can. Be aggressive, make extra money, and pour it all to the debt. And the second thing is to increase your age of credit. This is like a hack that a lot of people don't know about. And so I recently did this with my brother. I talked about this, I think is 2 weeks ago on my live, where I said my little brother wanted to get a car and didn't have a really good credit. So I added him as an authorized user to my very first credit card that I got when I was 18, back when I started college. And because I had a credit card for so many years, even though his age of credit was not so like long, he had like maybe a few years, he added all of my years to his credit file by becoming authorized user. And the really good thing about being an authorized user is you don't get a credit check. So they're not going to run your credit into an inquiry, because basically I'm the primary account holder. I'm already vouching for him. I'm saying like, yep, he could be authorized user. I already vetted him. He's good. He's going to be, if he doesn't pay you, I'll pay you, pretty much. So that, in that sense, the credit card company feels very comfortable immediately accepting that person. So you don't even have to worry, if you're going to be an authorized user, about a hard inquiry, hurting your credit, or anything like that. So the thing that you do have to know, though, is like, as soon as you get approved, you're going to get an authorized user credit card with your name on it that gives them access to the primary account holder's credit card. So for me, I have that credit card that I have is like $12,000 is the credit limit. And my brother got a credit card in the mail that allows him to access that line of credit, that $12,000. So he can go, use the credit card, and it shows up on my same bill. So it's kind of like we share that credit card account. And so what I did was I was like, listen, I want to help you out. I want to give you more years, so age of credit, but I don't want you to have that credit card with you, because if you get tempted to spend on it, it's going to be on my bill. So what I did was I just took the card. I told him I want to hold it, but it did really help his credit. So age of credit, boom, fastest thing you could do. If you got an aunt, uncle, cousins, a parent, somebody older than you who has like 10 years on you that can add you as an authorized user to their first credit card, as long as their first credit card is good, their payment history is good, they've always paid their bills on time, and they have a really good credit limit, you're going to be good, because you're basically just mooching off of their positive credit history and current credit amount. So that's probably the biggest thing. If you're you just paid off debt and you don't have a lot of years of credit, it doesn't really matter. You could pay all your debt. You could do everything on time, make a payment every month. At the end of the day, 15% of your score, you're just waiting for every year to pass, so you could get another year of credit usage, which is obviously going to take a long time. So the best thing you could do is try to get a quick hack in and get more years, make it look like you've had credit for way more years. There's people that do this with their babies, like people that take their 2-year-old, their 3-year-old, and they add them as authorized user on their credit card, and then bam, all of a sudden that baby turns 5 years old and they have credit for 10 years. How you have credit for 10 years? You're only 5 years old, because your parent added you to a credit card that they got 10 years ago. So those are the types of hacks I feel like people don't really know about it. But if you put that in place, you're going to see your credit score jump really fast, because they're quick. They're quick strategies. Jose said, I'm having trouble with Sprint. They don't want to remove collections. Listen, some people are not going to remove collections, because collections can stay on your credit for years. And so that's the problem with a lot of people. Like, they want to just get the collections removed, and a lot of times that's not going to happen. So what you should do is you really should just focus on the things that you can remove. And at least you tried, you know what I mean? Like, at least you said, hey, let me reach out to Sprint and see if they'll remove my collection from my credit report. But the reality is, Sprint is in their right to keep that collection on your credit report for up to 7 years. Legally, they can do that. So it sucks sometimes when they want to work with you, sometimes they don't want to work with you. And so you really kind of just have to be flexible in that way. At the end of the day, know that 7 years is 7 years. Sometimes you have to wait it out. Let's see. Oh man, y'all got some questions up in here. The chat is going too fast for me. I can't keep up. How many number of credit cards does a normal person have? On average, I think most people have like a couple of credit cards, like four, 3 or 4 credit cards. I don't think anybody needs to have more than, a few. Some people OD, like they'll literally have like 22 credit cards. And the thing about that is like you got to remember all those due dates and if unless you're not using the credit cards. I know a lot of people who they have so many credit cards because they do it for travel rewards or for perks, points, miles, things like that. That's a totally different thing. I'm not even going to talk about that because to me, people who want to increase their credit score are not focusing on travel hacking and getting points and things like that, because when you do that, a lot of times it does affect your credit, and you have to be in a position where you don't care if your credit is going to change, go up or down a little bit of points, because you are mostly trying to just get those travel points and rewards. So for me, I think people that are focusing on their credit score are people that are trying to get a house or trying to get approved for a car, or they're trying to get, a lower rate on something like a loan, a personal loan or a business loan or something. So for me, I just feel like I don't want you guys to think I'm talking about travel like hackers and things like that. That's a different thing. And so I would say it's normal to just have like 1 or 2 credit cards. For most average people, that's probably just fine. And after a few years, like after a year or two, call that credit card up and be like, hey, I've been having this credit card for a year or two. It's been going really well. I always pay my bill on time. I think you guys are great. And I really love your service. And I love the credit card that I have. I would like to increase my credit limit so I can use this credit card more. And then you'll see that they will increase your credit limit available to you, and that will also help increase your credit score, because you could spend the same amount of money every month, but because you have more credit available, boom, your utilization ratio is going to decrease. And you always want that utilization ratio to be really low, under 10%. So basically, by increasing your credit limit, it allows you to get more wiggle room. If you need to spend a little bit more a certain month or the next month, it won't hurt your score too much because you still stay under 10%. Like me, I'll tell you right now, I have over $40,000 of available credit on all my credit cards, and I have 5 credit cards. I've had 5 credit cards since I started my YouTube channel. I have not applied for another credit card in the past 5 years. Why would I need to? I don't need another credit card. I have over $40,000 of credit available to me on my 5 different cards. So for me, it's just a matter of if I can get these current credit cards that I have to keep increasing my credit available, then I'm chilling. I don't need to really worry too much about opening new credit cards all the time. And the good thing about not opening new credit cards all the time is that, again, that age of credit is going to stay really long, because every time you open a new credit card, it gets calculated into the average age of credit. So let's say you had a credit card for 10 years and then you just opened a credit card this year, just like today. So now those are the only 2 credit cards you have. They're not going to say 10 years is your age of credit. 10 years is your oldest account. But what your age of credit, how they're going to calculate is they're going to add the age of the 2 cards and then divide by 2, because you have 2 accounts. So they'll be like 10 years plus 0 years is 10, divided by 2 cards, that's 5. So the average age of credit is 5 years, which sucks because you've had credit for 10 years, but they're going to take your average age of credit. So it's going to drop from 10 to 5 just because you open a new card. So for me, I don't really like opening new credit cards unless it's a big reason, an important reason for me to open that credit card. That's just me personally, because I don't want my age of credit to hurt. And I have like over 10 years of credit. My average age of credit is almost 10. So it's like, I don't want to mess it up by adding a new account and then hurting my age of credit, because again, that's 15% of my score, and 30% is utilization, 35% is payment history. So it's kind of like the third biggest piece of the whole pie. So it does matter. It doesn't matter as much as payment history utilization, but it still matters. So that's my thing. Could you describe the definition of statement balance, account balance, and all that? Definitely. So when you get your first statement, there's different words that people like to use. Statement balance, total amount due, monthly amount. Like basically when you see balance, that just means like how much you owe right now. But the thing is that there's 2 different types of balances. And one of them is your statement balance. And then the other one is your balance due. So it's really annoying because the statement balance could be like $1,000 or $2,000 that you owe. But your balance that's due, which is usually it says minimum amount due or minimum balance due, that's usually going to be like 3 or 4% of your total spending. So it's not going to be a lot. It might be like $50 if you owe $2,000. So it's important to know, like, just because it says $50, that doesn't mean anything. You want to look at your total statement balance, everything that you owe that you've spent right now, and try to pay that in full by the due date. Now, of course, it gets, a little more complicated and a little more advanced when you're trying to like kind of hack the system. You're trying to beat the system a little bit. So, and this is something that a lot of people ask me, because my most popular video is about increasing your score quickly by paying down your utilization to less than 10%, right? But what if you need to spend more than 10% one month, like for a laptop or for, a big ticket item that you need to buy, and you can't pay it back till maybe 2 months or 3 months? That's okay. But the important thing to know is that you just have to pay it as fast as you can. And if you can afford to pay it off as soon as possible, the best way to hack it is to pay it right away before the statement closing date. So basically, the statement opening date is like, okay, boom, now you can start using that credit card and you can start shopping. And that's the first day of this billing period. Then the statement closing date is the last day of this billing period. That's the last day that you can shop. And the amounts that you spend on that day will be counting towards this billing period. But the thing is, that bill won't come for like another week or two. So it's really annoying because they call it the statement closing date, but then you can still keep spending after that, and it will go on the next bill. It won't go on the next bill that you're going to get right away. That's going to come in like a week or two. That one is going to show you, everything that you used in that billing period. But then, if you spend money after the statement closing date, it's going to go on the bill that comes, in a month or two. So it's kind of complicated, but I would say the best thing to do is just get your numbers in order and like line them up. So, because usually the statement closing date is always around the same day every month. Like if it's the 24th, it's usually the 24th or the 25th or the 23rd or the 24th. And so once you know that pattern, like every month around those days is usually when you want to make sure you log in and make a payment so you could bring down your balance to be as low as it could be. And then when your bill gets printed or you get your bill, even though you spent a lot more, you paid it down by the statement closing date. So it basically took it off the bill. And when your bill comes, it shows that you already made a payment and now you only owe what's left. So it's really important to just know when is that statement closing date every month. And then one more thing I want to say about this question, because there are people that just get so confused. Like they'll be like, I don't get it. My statement closing date is on the 15th, but my due date is on the 10th. So if my due date is before my statement closing date, how am I supposed to log in and pay before my statement when the due date is first? And I'm like, okay, first of all, what you're confusing is the due date from the previous month's bill and the statement closing date from the current billing cycle. I know it's annoying. It's so annoying, but you got to remember that every cycle is a different shopping period, it's a different shopping cycle, a different statement period. So basically, if you're in the middle of a shopping period right now of a statement billing cycle, and the due date says the 10th, but your statement closing date is the 15th, then you already know the 10th means it's for a previous bill. The statement closing date coming up on the 15th, that's what you want to focus on. Log in and try to pay before that 15th day passes. And then the next month on the 10th is going to be the due date for that one. So it's like, I don't like it when people go like, oh no, but the due date is before the statement closing date. Okay, then obviously you must be looking at the due date for the previous bill. It's not possible for that to be this bill, because the statement closing date can't be after your due date. Hello, so those are the types of things where you get more comfortable after you see a few bills, and then you get more clear on like what are the specific days for your billing cycle, your opening date, your closing date, your due date. Those are the three you got to know those dates. So it's kind of complicated, but once you get comfortable with it, you'll be like, okay, now I know exactly when, I got to make sure I pay things off. Kate says she's been binge watching my videos in the past 2 weeks. Oh, thank you, Kate. Thank you. That's so sweet. Listen, watch the videos, because I done put up so many videos over the years, and girl, go ahead and take advantage of them. I heard you can buy orders and then use that order to pay back money spent. I don't know what you mean by that, dark rate. Let me know. What does that mean? Hi from South Orange, New Jersey. What's up, Jonathan? What's up, New Jersey? Shout out to New York, New Jersey, that whole tri-state. I gotta give a shout out to our New York and New Jersey people. I paid a collection, but I didn't ask them to remove it. What should I do? Oof, Miguel. Actually, somebody DM'd me today on Instagram and said, hey, I got a letter in the mail today from a collection. What should I do? Should I pay it? And I looked at the bill. It was a medical bill. I'm like, well, is that a medical bill that you owe? Like, did you get those medical services and you haven't paid for it yet? And they were like, yeah, I did. That is a bill that I do remember doing, that I owe that. But they sent it to collections and I didn't expect that. I was like, okay, well, since you actually do owe that money and it's not a lie or fraud or an error, pay it as fast as you can. If you can pay it right now, pay it right now, because the longer it stays in collection, the worse it looks for you. And the worse it is going to be on your credit. So you want to, as soon as you find out there's a collection and is legit, you know that you owe that money, call them immediately and set up a payment plan, even if it's $25 a month, whatever you can do, because that's better than ignoring it or just not paying attention to it, not calling them and avoiding them. That's the worst thing you can do. It's only going to make it worse. And then to Miguel's point, he said he paid the collection off, but then he didn't ask them to remove it. As soon as she asked me, I said, pay it. If you could pay it today, pay it today. But don't log on to the internet and pay it online. Don't go on your phone and pay it on the phone. Call them, call the collection agency and ask to speak to somebody. Write down the person's name, their job title, write down the date and the time. And then say, hey, thank you for helping me today. I want to ask about removing the collection off my credit report. If I pay it in full today, right now with you over the phone, can you confirm with me that it will be wiped off? They will tell you straight up, listen, if you pay it today and it's paid in full, I can make sure, I'll confirm with you that it will not affect your credit report. It will get wiped off. We'll report it as wiped off. And not only that, but we can confirm by sending you a statement, a zero statement balance, like a receipt. So boom, now you have the record of the conversation. You have a record that you paid it down, your balance is zero. And pretty soon usually within 2 to 6 weeks, you will see that it will get wiped off your credit report. And hopefully it never even popped up, because usually collections take a little while to pop up unless you left them lingering and you haven't paid them. So Miguel, in short, what I would say to you is call them back up, call up the collection agency and just say to them, hey, listen, somebody that I spoke with last time mentioned that if I paid it in full, it would get removed off of my credit report. Can you help me to make sure that that your collection agency is going to ask the credit bureaus to wipe it off of my credit report? Because I want to make sure, since I already paid it in full, I want to make sure it's not hurting my credit. Now, here's the thing. They might be like, who told you that? And so it's kind of tricky if you actually didn't get it in, confirmed that somebody said it to you. But hey, the best thing you can do is try. Let them know that, you've heard that this might work and you're really interested in making sure it doesn't hurt your credit. Is there any way somebody there can help you to make sure it's going to get removed? They do. They're just trying to do their job. They're just trying to make the person who needs that money back, trying to get them paid and make them whole. They don't really care to make your life miserable. They just want to get that client that they're trying to clear that account. They're just trying to get that cleared and paid, boom. And then they're going their merry way. So if they can help you and help themselves, why not? Michael said, I have a credit card with $5,500 limit. Whenever the bill cycle ends, if you don't spend your credit score, it goes down. Should I spend even though I'm at the credit limit? If you're at the credit limit, no, you shouldn't be spending it. You should, first of all, never get to the credit limit. Never go up to your available credit amount. But it says whenever the bill cycle ends, if you don't spend, your credit score goes down. That's not really true. It's just that if you don't use your credit card for a really long time, what would happen is they might consider you what's called inactive. If they consider your account to be inactive, they would they'll close it. I've had family members tell me, listen, I just got a letter in the mail telling me that they're closing my credit card. It doesn't work anymore and it's just going to get closed. And that happens sometimes because they don't like the way that your account has been going. You're not using it enough, or you didn't always pay on time. I don't know. There's different reasons. So it's important to at least keep it active, or what they consider to be active, which means that you do use your card once in a while. So if you have a $5,500 limit, use it for whatever, to buy detergent, to buy toothpaste, or to buy things that you need. Everybody needs certain things. You need toilet paper, okay? So go buy some toilet paper with the credit card because you need it. Things that you need if you don't want to use it too much, and then just always pay it back in full, whenever you make those purchases. That's it. The other easy thing you could do is set up an automatic recurring payment. So for example, in my apartment between my boyfriend and I, he will pay for Spotify, I will pay for Netflix. So I take one of my cards and I just make Netflix every month automatically charges to that credit card. And then on my credit card account, I set up auto pay. So every month, automatically, my bank account pays the Netflix on off my credit card. So it's like my credit card pays Netflix, my bank account pays my credit card. Boom! Now I owe nothing. I paid Netflix, I used my credit card, and my bank account, paid for it. So it's great because it all happens automatically. All set up automatic transfer, automatic bill pay, all of that, and it's like I think it's $17.99 now, which is so annoying because it used to be $15.99. But you know what? Okay, it's a couple more dollars, and Netflix still got like so many options to see. So I guess it's still worth the money. It's still good value. So I can't even hate. But it's a little annoying because I knew it was always $15.99, and I set up that automatic payment. And then I'm like, wait, why is it $17.99? I thought it was $15. So I had to change it to $17.99 automatic payment. So that's how I know Netflix went up. But anyway, that's one easy way that I set up that credit card. So I never use that credit card. I never touch it. It's just the only purpose it has. Every month it pays Netflix. And that's it. And then my bank account pays it. So, and that makes sure that card stays active. It gets used once a month. Every month it gets paid every single month on time. So that's the easy way. If you have a credit card, you're like, I don't really want to use it. Boom, set up automatic pay on one bill. And then just make sure you always pay it every month on time. Doesn't matter how much is the statement balance, or does it mainly matter that there's $0 on the due date? What matters is that there is $0 on your due date. That's what matters more. Your statement balance is basically just them trying to help you keep track of all the things that you owe for right now. If you made purchases, if you took a cash advance, which you should never do. I have a whole video about why you should not take out cash advances. But basically, it's just to tell you, like, boom, 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 this is what happened during this statement. And so at the end of the day, what you really care about is that it says amount due, balance due is 0. So on your due date, you want to make sure you never have anything due. But the thing is too, like, if you get it to be 10% or lower, and that's a small amount that's due, that's okay. Like, I don't think you have to obsess about making sure that you owe $0 every month. You want to make sure that the statement can show that you owe a little bit. Say you have $1,000, you can owe $90, $80, that's due on the official due date. But just make sure you pay it before that due date. So you pay everything on time, and before the statement closing date, you want to log in and make sure that you don't have more than $100 due right now from your statement balance. So, and it's hard because you don't really know your statement balance. But if you have the app, Valeria, you said you're new to credit, I would definitely recommend that you download the app for your credit card and look on the app to see how much is it right now that you have it on that you owe. And if it's like more than 10% of your credit limit available, then log in before the statement closing date and make a payment or a couple payments, so that by the time you see your bill, it shows that you only owe a little bit, 10% or less, so that you have excellent in that category of utilization. I want to say at least a word in Spanish, so I could tell that you're Hispanic. Of course I am. Oh my goodness. I have so many videos where I talk about my family's Dominican. Your videos on credit score improvement helped me a lot. Yay. I'm so happy they did. Honestly, my biggest thing that people know me for is credit videos, because that was my first, like, that's the open the door to me understanding money and understanding like personal finance. Like, I didn't really have money saved up. I didn't really have anything invested. I didn't really understand about the stock market, none of that stuff. It was really just me using credit cards. And then I learned, like, oh, I'm never going to be able to have good credit if I keep using my credit cards all wrong. So, I figured, let me put videos out there, because if I didn't know, I bet you there's a lot of people out there that don't know as well. How long should you have a credit history? So that's a good question, Michael. I like to use the Credit Karma app. This is not sponsored or anything. They do not pay me. I wish they did. But I go into the Credit Karma app, and each of the 5 categories of your credit or factors of your credit, they'll show you on the app what you're supposed to do to get excellent in every single category. So I'm literally going to go on my Credit Karma right now, and I'll go through them and I'll show you. Let's see. The first one is payment history. In order to be green for payment history, you have to get like 100%. You have to have made 99% or more of your payments on time. So pretty much 100% of all your payments on time. If you make 98% of your payments on time, then it goes to yellow. It's like, it's fair. It's not excellent anymore. And if 97% is orange, so it's like, okay, now it's not good. And then anything less than 97%, 96, 95, 94, anything below that is just red. That's just straight up very bad. So you want to try to basically never miss a payment. The second thing is utilization. So that's 30% of your score. In order to get perfect in this, you have to be at less than 10% of your total available credit. So between 1 and 9%, between 0 and 9%. And then if you spend between 10 and 29%, that will put you in good. It's still green, but it's not excellent. You're not getting an A plus, you're getting an A minus or regular A. And then if you spend between 30 and 49%, you'll be yellow, which is fair. 50 to 74% of your credit available is orange. So that's right there. Boom. You already know that's bad. And then anything that is more, 75% more of your spending, of your total available credit that you're spending, whew, that's very bad. That's very poor. Like your credit score, you're going to see 30% of your points you're going to lose them, that sucks. That's going to be a big hit to your credit score. All right. The next thing is derogatory marks. So this is like collections, public records, anything like that where you did not settle, you didn't make the person to lend you money whole, you didn't pay them back, late payments, things like that. That's all going to be here. So you're going to want to have 0 collections and 0 public records, negative public records. And so if you have 0, that's excellent. It's going to be green in the app. If you have 1 collection on your credit report, it goes to yellow. So now you're like, oh, you're not, you're like, it's okay, it's fair, but it's definitely not green. If it's 2 to 3, then that's orange. All right. So clearly, all right, again, that's bad. And if you have 4 or more, that's very poor. That's terrible. So you're going to lose 10% of your score because of that. So that's not good. All right. So then you got age of credit, right, which we already talked about. That's 15% of your score. So if you have, this was to Michael's question, how many years should you have credit history? Boom. Here we go. So 9+ years is excellent. So if you have 9, 10, 11, 12, boom, up, all from there upward, you're going to have excellent. You're going to get all 15% of these points. If you have 7 or 8 years average of credit, then this is going to be good. Still green is good, but it's not excellent. If you have 5 or 6 years, that's fair. And again, remember, this is your average, not your oldest account. This is the average of the years of all the accounts that you have. 5 to 6 years is fair. And then you have 2 to 4. So 2, 3, or 4 years, that's orange, which is, not good. And then very, very poor is going to be anything that is less than 2 years. So again, if you had a credit card for 5 years and then you open a new one right now, they're going to do 5 years plus 0 years is 5. And they're going to divide by 2. And it's going to go from 5 to 2.5. So that's why I always tell people, when you're going to open a new account, remember, it can help you because it's going to create available credit for you and help your utilization, but it's going to hurt you at the same time because it's going to lower your average age of credit. So it's important to really think about it. Do you really want to go out opening all these new accounts? That can really hurt your age of credit, which is 15% of your score. That's the third biggest piece of your credit score. It's more important than you would think because 15% doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. Okay, so that was that one. And then we got total number of accounts. So open and closed, all of them. So a lot of people think once you close an account, oh, that doesn't matter anymore. It does matter. It matters. It still counts. So you should open and close accounts total. If you have 21 or more total, so student loans, credit cards, car loans, any personal loans, mortgage, anything time that you borrowed money, 21 or more is excellent. 11 to 20, between 11 and 20 is good. Between 6 and 10 is orange. It's like, not so great. And then, so there's even no yellow for this one, which is crazy. It's just either green, orange, or red. 0 to 5 is red. So that's why if you are new to credit and you just open like one account, you're like, what? I have my credit card. I've been using it. I'm trying to do like, what's up? I'm not seeing a credit score increase. Like I'm not seeing my score go up. Well, it's because you have one account and you just opened it. So you have 0 years of credit because you just opened that credit card and you have one credit card account. So not only is your age of credit 0, but your total accounts is also 1. So you're getting low ratings in 2 of the important categories. All right. And then obviously hard inquiries. You don't want to have a lot of hard inquiries. So 0 hard inquiries is excellent. 1 or 2 hard inquiries is good. It's okay. Fair is 3 or 4 hard inquiries. Anything that's 5 to 8 is bad, and very bad is 9 or more. That's horrible. And again, remember, every time you apply for a new account, it comes with a hard inquiry. So that's why it's really important. Like I always tell people, be careful, because when you open new accounts, it affects a lot of different pieces of your credit score. It's a new account. It's now it's going to lower your age of credit. It's going to create a hard inquiry. It's so many pieces to it. So it's an important decision. You can't just be like doing it super quick just because you think, oh, this is a cool card, or, oh, my friend has this card. All right, let's see. I'm going to do that through my mother's account. So I won't listen. I know you're probably talking about getting authorized user on your mother's card. As long as she's responsible with that card, and she has always paid that bill on time, and the record is clean and good, listen, it's only going to help you. But just make sure you always pay that bill on time. You don't want to mess up your mother's credit because you got added as authorized user. At the end of the day, she can always just remove you off of the account if you don't make your bill payments. If you're stressing her out and she's like, you spent $50 and you didn't pay it, like, she can just remove you because she is the primary account holder. So that's a good thing to know. Shout out to Jonathan Ramos for sending me $3 on Super Chat. I appreciate you. Edwin said, I'm trying to get a secured credit card since I'm 18 and I have no credit. Okay, so Edwin, a secured credit card is a great thing to do. Another a great option that I think a lot of people don't talk about, it's a great way to increase your credit score and save money, is a credit builder loan. There's a lot of places you can get it. There's companies like Self, Chime Bank also now is doing credit builder loans. You can just Google like best credit builder loans 2021. You're going to find a lot of really great ones, and you just compare them and find out which one is the best for you. Because at the end of the day, everybody thinks that you need to have a credit card to build credit. And that used to be true, but it's no longer true. Now, if you don't want to have a credit card because you just don't want to have that extra responsibility, you don't want to, be the temptation to like spend more, you can actually just do a credit builder loan. And the way it works, my boyfriend actually did it. You would basically set up your account, and then they will pretend that you owe them a certain amount of money. Let's say it's $1,200. Pretend that you borrowed $1,200. You didn't borrow anything, but for the sake of helping you build credit, they're going to pretend. So now what you're going to do every month for 12 months, you're going to pay $100 every month. Let's say, example, I'm making this up. Let's say on the 15th. On the 15th of every month, you send them $100. After 12 months, you've sent them 12 payments of $100. You've essentially paid them back that $1,200 that you borrowed. Now what they're going to do is every single month, they have been reporting your $100 payments on time, payments being made every month consistently. That helps you build up your credit history. So it looks like, wow, you've been making all your payments on time. You're not late with your payments. And since you never really borrowed the $1,200 in the first place, at the end of the year, they'll take a small percentage so that they can, get paid for the business they're offering you, the service. Usually it's like 3%, around 3 or maybe 2 or 3%. Try to find something that's 3% or less. Don't try to not pay more than 3% in fees. But usually they do charge a little fee, and then they send you the rest back. So you pretty much get like 97% of the money that you've been saving all year. So you'll get like a little bit under a $1,200 check in the mail. You can put that check into your savings account. So now, not only did you save close to $1,200, but your credit history over 12 months has now been established. So that's a really good option. So Edwin, you're 18. If you don't want to get a credit card or a secure credit card, credit builder loans, look it up. It's a great alternative to a credit card. And it's a really good option to increase your credit score quickly. What is the secured credit card? Okay, so if you want to get a credit card and you don't get approved anywhere, like you tried 1 or 2 cards there, they're not approving you, they're not accepting your application. What you can do is go apply for a secured credit card where they're going to ask you to put down a security deposit. That's where secured comes from. Security deposit would be like $200, $300, $500. It depends on the card. Every card has its different amounts. So let's say it's $200. You have to give them $200 in cash in order to open this credit card, the secured credit card. You're going to get the plastic card in the mail, and it has $200 of spending power on it. That's the limit. So now you could go into the store, you can buy anything up to $200, and you'll log into your account every month and pay it just like a regular credit card. But let's say you can't make a payment 1 month. They are not going to worry because they're holding money. They're holding $200 as a security deposit just in case you don't make your payment. So it's lower risk to them to lend you money. They're not taking such a risk because if you can't pay, hey, that security deposit is sitting there. So it will be an easy way for you to get accepted to get a credit card, and an easy way for them to not take a big risk lending to somebody who doesn't really have a credit score, doesn't really have, like, there's no way for them to know if they should trust you. You don't have a good credit score, you don't have any credit. It's hard. So sometimes credit cards will just deny you because you don't have any credit history, you don't have a credit score. And but then you can't start credit because you keep getting denied. So they tell you you need credit to have good credit, but you can't start credit without credit, existing credit. It's like, what? This doesn't make any sense. The system doesn't make sense. So that's why secured credit cards were designed. So you could just put some cash down and get a credit card anyway. And then the cool thing is, after like a year or two, you've been using it, you've been, really good, making your payments on time and everything, call them up and say, okay, I've had this card for a year now. I always made my payments on time. You can check my account history, yada, yada, yada. I like your customer service. I like this card, but I don't want to have a secured card anymore. I want you to give me my $200 deposit back and upgrade me to a regular credit card, unsecured credit card. So basically, it does not have a security deposit and it becomes a regular credit card. Now, the thing is, some secured credit cards will graduate you up to a regular card and not give you any problems. Some will say, oh, we don't do that. This is the only card that we offer. So if you're looking for a secured credit card right now, make sure you do your research and find out, call them and ask, if I get this secured credit card, will I be able to graduate up and upgrade to a regular credit card after a year or two? Or is this the only product that you have? Like, because you don't want to be locked into a secured credit card that's not going to give you another opportunity to move up and get your money back. That's pretty much how a secure credit card works. What card would you recommend for points, cash back, rewards, credit score of 650? How likely is it to get approved? There's no way that I can answer that because I don't know the specific requirements of every credit card. There's so many out there. But what I would say for points and cash back, it changes so much. There's some, like, for example, like the Chase Freedom card, which I have, that rotates categories for cash back, and you can get up to 5% cash back depending on the categories, and they rotate every month. So if 1 month is restaurants, the next month it might be gas money, the next month it might be groceries. That, it's different every month, but you do get cash back up to 5% in every spending category that fits their criteria for that period. I think it's every quarter. So I think it's like every 3 months they change it. So basically, that's a really important decision for you to make based on going online to see what are some credit cards that have high cashback rewards options, and then compare the top ones and look to see what are their credit approval ratings, what are their credit approval odds, and look to see, do they usually require you to have between 600 and 700, or 650 and 675, or is it 700 plus? Those are the things we have to go and just look at, the top 2 or 3 credit cards that you really like, and see what what's the credit score that they look for. Because it's hard. I mean, I could literally list some credit cards off the top of my head, but I don't know if they will accept you with a 650. They might be 725, or they might look for only 800 plus. Some credit cards be a little bougie, so you wanna know what are the specifics. All right, let's see. Self is good. The offer made me a secure credit card after the loan was paid off. Nice. I didn't even know that. So now they're offering other services, which is great. When I first found out about them, they were called Self Lender, and then now they dropped the lender part and they just do self, which is really cool. I think they're a great company, but I didn't know that they had expanded outside of credit builder loans. So that's great. I love it. Capital One has a really great card. Yes, I definitely agree with that. I have a Capital One. What do I have? I have the Capital One rewards, the venture rewards. And I've used it a couple of flights where I didn't even have to pay. I just logged onto the Capital One website. I log into my credit card portal and I see how many rewards points I have, and I can use points to book flights. I've done that legit, probably 3 times in the past 2 years, where I didn't have to pay anything except the taxes and fees, which is usually depending on the price of the flight, can usually be, it's usually under $100. If I'm really buying a super expensive flight, it might be more than $100, but that's not usually the case. How does paying off my student loan affect my credit score? Great question, Rob. So it is going to help and hurt. So one reason it's going to help is because now when let's say, for example, if you want to apply for a house, or you want to apply for a mortgage to buy a house, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. If you just finish paying off your student loans, you have way less debt. And so your income is going to be significantly higher compared to your debt compared to as if you still had those student loans. So your debt to income ratio is going to be much better if you pay off your student loans. However, because you're closing an account, you now have an account going from an open account, active account, to closed, which kind of takes a couple points off. And the other thing that's really important to recognize is that when you think about all the different account information, they like active payments every month. They like active and open accounts, showing that you're right now currently making payments and you're always doing that on time and you're consistent. So once you close an account and it goes away, it's like it's fine. There's nothing terrible about it, but you will notice that the number of active accounts you have decreases. So that's where you're going to see a little ping to your score. And it shocks a lot of people. A lot of people are like, what? I just paid off my credit score. What? I paid off my student loans. Why did my credit score drop? So the reality is, expect it to drop a little bit. And that's not a big deal. If your credit score drops anything that's like 10 points or less, that's not a big deal. That's totally normal and natural, because your credit score is going to vary based on how much you owe, how much you're spending right now, when your last payment was, how many accounts open, so many things. And those things change all the time. So don't freak out too much, but do expect that it's going to drop a little bit. All right, let's see. What are the best financial decisions that you can make while you're in college and not having many financial responsibilities? Great question, Estella. I would say, honestly, the biggest thing I would change about me in college is I would make more money. Like, you have so much free time in college compared to when you're an adult. You don't have so many responsibilities, and literally between classes, you're just chilling. I remember I used to take naps. I used to take naps in the middle of the day between my classes. I wish I could just get up and go take a nap in the middle of the day, and that I didn't have phone calls, Zoom calls, meetings on my calendar. So I think it's a beautiful thing to have like some flexibility in your schedule when you're in college, but really taking advantage of that and trying to maximize how much money can you make, and not just money, but like potential future money too. Like, there's ways that you can invest your time that you can get a better return in the future. For example, I started posting videos on YouTube in 2015. I didn't see no money. 2015, 2016, probably not till maybe 2017 is when I first actually saw like $100. But I just kept posting because I enjoyed it. I just kept on posting videos. I like talking, helping people. And next thing you know, now I'm at a point where pretty much every month, whether I post a new video or not, I'm getting close to $1,000, whether I do anything or not. And the reason, obviously, I make more if I post videos. But if I don't make a video one month, I'm still going to get close to $1,000, because there's so many videos that I've made, hundreds of videos already, and so many subscribers and so many views that like the videos are out there. And so new people come and click and watch old videos. So they're still generating clicks and revenue for me every month, even if I don't do anything. So you might put in work with your time in college, even if you don't get money right away, but it can lead to guaranteed fixed passive income in the future. So those are the types of things I would say to focus on. Passion projects that could potentially lead to money. Networking, because the more people you know, the more connections you have, the more opportunities you have, the more resources you have. So connecting, networking, going to meetups, joining so many community groups and masterminds and conferences and student groups, like do like as much of that kind of networking as you can. But yeah, I would probably say I should have made more money, because I was working a lot, but I was just getting minimum wage for everything. I was not thinking creatively about what else can I do that won't limit me to just a minimum wage. Most college kids are gonna get minimum wage jobs if they go to the traditional types of jobs like retail or restaurant. I was working in the food industry and tutoring, and also I worked at as a resident advisor, which was just like a fixed payment every 2 weeks. So I was not really making a lot of money, a couple $100 maybe every 2 weeks. So yeah, I would basically, in short, say I would have went back and got more money. Should I leave a balance of $5 on my credit card to improve my credit score? No, I started with that. So you must have joined late. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Money orders you use to pay credit cards. Oh my goodness, money orders. Woof, y'all are throwing it way back. I remember I used to use money orders to make payments when I was little, but I haven't used money orders in a long time. How much revolving credit should I be around to get 300K house with 20% down? Ooh, that is going to be interesting. So it's not necessarily about revolving credit. It's really what they focus on when you're about to try to get a house, especially if you have 20% down. Great, that's amazing. What you really want to focus on is your debt to income ratio. Even if you don't have a lot of revolving available credit, as long as your debt to income ratio is not high, then you're going to be good. So you really want to make sure you focus on that. Go ahead and research debt to income ratio, best debt to income ratio for mortgage approval, especially if you have excellent credit. You want to try to make sure that putting that 20% down is going to basically allow you to get a really good interest rate on your mortgage. Is it bad for your credit to add an authorized user? Nope. Will it require a hard inquiry? Nope. Great questions, Valeria. No. It didn't affect my credit score at all when I added my brother as authorized user. It helped him boost his score. But I will say, if I had given him the credit card and he went to spend, it would have probably hurt my score, right? Because he went and did something reckless, like buying pizza or drinks for all his friends. So that's why I made sure to keep the card. But as long as that authorized user does not go max out that credit card or do something crazy, there should be no reason why it hurts your score. When they open that authorized user card, it doesn't. It's the way they use that credit card and spend on it that actually has impact. All right, let's see. Quest for Less, shout out to you for that super chat. Thank you for all that you do for the financial community. Thank you for that shout out. That's amazing. Honestly, most people really focus on the fact that I talk about credit a lot, which is fine. But I love that you said the financial community, because it's so much more than just credit. I think credit is super important for sure. But one of the things I realized was when I was understanding credit, I knew that I needed my credit score to be good, because one day I was going to need to rely on it, either for a car loan, a home mortgage loan, especially real estate, especially buying a home. But what I focus more on nowadays is actually investing and building wealth, because I realized that you could get started investing with, let's say you got 25, 15, 13, whatever, however much money you have, $50. You can get started investing, open an investment account, put $50 in. They don't check your credit score. You don't have to have a good debt to income ratio. They don't care if you have collections. They don't there's no requirements really, except that you're 18 and that you, obviously, if you're in the United States, that you have, that you are a U.S. citizen, so that you can actually log in, or that you have a social security number, so you can actually create an account and, link it so you can pay taxes on your capital gains. But the point is, there's not really as many requirements as compared to credit, where when you want to get a house, there's like a loan, a loan officer that is going to go through your application and check to see if you have everything in order. It's like, it feels so much more restrictive to get access to a real estate property or a home, your first home, if you're going to live in it, as compared to investing, in the stock market. So for me, I feel like I'm starting to focus way more of my energy and my attention on teaching people how to invest money in the stock market versus fixing credit, because credit just means that you need to borrow more money eventually. That's the only reason why you should care about your credit score, is if you need to borrow money at some point. And so, I kind of want people to start thinking differently. Like, do you really need your credit score do you really need to borrow more money? And if you're trying to get a house, then of course, probably yes. Like, it's hard to find people that have like 300 stacks, just 300K just stacked. It's hard. But, to be young and start investing early, I wish I had done that. Marilyn said, I'm 26. This past year, and I paid off all my debts. Shout out to you for that. Congratulations, Marilyn Vega. That's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. My credit is great, but I'm stressed because I don't really know what to do as a career. Any advice? You know what, Marilyn? I think the best advice I can give you is to look at YouTube channels like, oh man, what is that guy's YouTube channel that is so great? It's like a career YouTube channel where he'll basically go and interview a bunch of people that have like all these different like jobs. And literally his interviews are so great. I'm literally blanking on his name, but you know what? I'll put it in the description box after this video goes up. I'll make sure to find, I think it's Engineered Truth. Did it just come to me? Engineered Truth. Yes, Engineered Truth on YouTube. Highly recommend it. He interviews people in all types of careers. And the funny thing is, a lot of them will tell you straight up, like, this career sucks. Like, they will tell you, I went to school for this and I graduated school, started working in this, and realized how horrible it is. And it's important not to just listen to their opinion. Don't just listen to, oh man, they said that this job sucks, I'm going to forget about that job. No, what you have to listen to is why. Why do they say it sucks? And then see if you agree. Because if they say it sucks because I have to wake up early every day, well, if you're an early bird and you love waking up early, then that's not going to be a problem for you. So you don't really need to worry about that. So find out, what are the reasons, what are the things about that job? So the great thing about Engineered Truth's YouTube channel is he actually goes in deep. Like, okay, what do you do every day at your job? what in college prepared you for it? What didn't prepare you for it? What are the toughest parts of your job? What are your favorite parts of your job? And like, you literally get to learn about what it is to be a day in the life of that particular job. So it might be like a mechanical engineer, a software engineer. It could be like a teacher. It might be a lawyer, or, you know, a lot of different types of jobs. And anyway, I just thought channels like that are really helpful because you get to see a little sense of like what it's like. So that's the first tip. And then the second tip and the last tip I'll say is that if you go on LinkedIn, create your LinkedIn, make it nice and professional, and then reach out to people that work in career fields that you kind of think you might be interested in. And then reach out to them, request to friend them on LinkedIn and send them a message and just be like, hey, I just noticed that you work in marketing at Johnson & Johnson. And it's a great company. It's very well known. And I'm interested in marketing. I'm 26 years old. I would love to just ask you 10 or 12 questions. If you have time over the phone next week. If not, let me know. And I'm happy to just send them via email if that's better for you. I know you're probably busy. Boom. Now they're going to be like, oh, sure, I could take, you know, a few minutes to answer some questions via email. Or if they don't mind talking on the phone, they'll be like, sure, let's set up some time to connect next week. People really like to help other people, especially younger people that are trying to come up behind them and like figure out their career. Don't be afraid to reach out. The worst thing that can happen is the person straight up ignores you, or the person responds and says, no, I don't even know who you are. Okay, big deal. On to the next. On to the next. Boom. Okay. If you have a list of like 50 people and you send them messages and let's say 10% of them respond, that's 5 people that you get to talk to next week that will help you learn about a career, or questions that you have about a career that you would never have gotten answers to before. So you've got to find people that are doing the jobs that you think you might want to do and ask them the tough questions. What is your daily routine? What are the things that you do? What are the parts of your job you love? What are the hardest parts of your job? Would you recommend this career field? Why or why not? All that kind of, like, really try to get in their life and see if you would enjoy that kind of career or not. I could talk, you guys. One of y'all better cut me off. I'm going to stop in a few minutes, but let me see if there's any other questions. What's the difference between a closed account and an account restricted? Oof, account restricted means that they closed it on you. That is not good. Or that they straight up just like cut you off. A restricted account is obviously something that you didn't choose. It's not like you paid it off or like you closed it. It's worse. It's because somebody who's lending you money is going to look on your credit report and see that and be like, oh, you know, obviously it wasn't by your choosing. So yeah, that's basically just makes them look like you're not really trustworthy to lend you money. Pay your credit card on time all the time. Yes, yes, yes. Khan Academy has a bunch of great videos. Yes, check out Khan Academy too. Listen, that's great. Any tips on stopping impulsive buying? Cut yourself off. Cut yourself off. What do you do? Thank you, Fabi. Fabi says he loves my energy. Fire, fire, fire emoji. Love it. Okay. Who was that? FRCB. Tips on stopping impulsive buying. What are the things that you impulsive buy? First of all, you gotta check that. Like, when am I impulsive buying? Catch yourself. Write it down. Like, you got to catch yourself. So for some people, it's on Instagram. They go to these Insta boutiques and they're like buying on Instagram, you know. Catch yourself, right? Take off your credit card. Do not save it. Nowhere. Not on Amazon. Not on Best Buy, Target. Not nowhere. Not on any apps where you gaming apps or you playing games, anything. No. Take off your credit. Apple Pay, let me look. If you have Apple Pay set up on your phone, take it off. A lot of people don't realize, I don't even know where Apple Pay is on this phone, honestly, which is kind of crazy because I've had this phone for so long, but I don't use Apple Pay. I do not connect Apple Pay to my phone because I already know that it's the worst idea. If I had Apple Pay on this phone, I would literally just, let me see, this is my wallet. I'm just gonna, look, I'm trying to get proof for you guys. See this? Cash, $0. Zero. I do not, literally, I'm like, listen, there is no reason why I need to have my Cash App set up. I'm sorry, my Apple Pay set up or any other type of Google Pay, Samsung Pay. If you set that up, it only makes it so easy for you to go and check out on pay for things. Tap to pay, boom, that, get this real quick. Or you go on Amazon, one click buy. No, make it so hard for yourself. Literally erase all of the credit card information that you stored on any websites. And not only that, but I know some of y'all out there do this. I know, and it's probably you. The person who asked me these questions, probably you too. No judgment, but I know it's you. You memorize the numbers, the digits on your credit card. So when you're about to buy something, even though you probably deleted your credit card when you're shopping, You could just type the numbers out. You'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know the numbers. That's horrible. What you can do, call up your credit card company, tell them that your credit card is lost, cut up that credit card, throw it in the recycling bin, okay? And when you get the new credit card in the mail, do not memorize. I repeat, do not memorize the digits on your credit card. Sign the back, put it in your wallet. Do not memorize it, because if you memorize it, it's basically like storing it in your phone, it's storing it in your brain so you can just quickly buy things on impulse without making it hard for yourself. So the harder you make it for yourself to buy something, the best thing, that's the better it's going to be for you, because you're going to go and you're going to be like, oh yeah, oh, I want this. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Payment, enter credit card information. Oh, where's my credit card? Where's my credit card? Oh, I had to go all the way to the kitchen, get my wallet. Okay, open, boom. You start entering the digits. All this time, you're thinking to yourself, do I really need to buy this right now? Like, as it forces you to think and feel a little more guilty, and to think to yourself, do I really need to make this purchase? If the answer is yes, big deal. Okay, great, buy it. You're going to keep entering the digits. It takes you a minute. You buy it, boom, you're done. If the answer is no, I know I don't need to be buying this, then you'll be able to stop yourself and come to your senses and like come to a place of reason again. But if you don't have the time to stop yourself because you're just one click purchase right now, one click buy, like you're never going to be able to stop yourself from making those impulsive purchases. So I think the best way is to literally make sure that you do not save your information anywhere and you do not memorize your credit card. And I know that's hard, especially if you use them a lot, but that's the whole point. Don't be using them a lot. Don't be using your credit cards a lot. I leave my credit card at home. Yeah, me too. I do not take I have one credit card that I bring with me if I'm going out, with my ID and my keys and my phone. Boom, that's it, right? Because what's the point? If I have them, it's just going to be like, oh, I could put this on this credit card, put this on that credit card, put this on that credit card. Like, no, it's just, there's no point. What if you don't spend enough to hit the minimum for optimizing your credit card utilization? There is no minimum for optimizing credit card utilization. The minimum, I guess I would say, is 1%. If you're not spending 1% of your credit, the thing is, you have to remember, 10% is the maximum that you want to spend if you want to have excellent in that utilization category. But it could be anywhere that's more than 0 and less than 10. So that's 1%, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Any of those numbers works, right? So it's going to be pretty hard to not meet the minimum. So I would say just don't worry about that. Even if you buy like a pack of like gum and then you $2 and then you pay it back or something, that's fine. Like the point is that you use it and then you pay it back on time. That's all you want. You just want to make sure you use your card and pay it back in full on time. How often should I use my credit card? You only have to use it once or twice a year to keep it active. Once or twice a year. If you need to use it more than that, great. And I think Gabriella asked that question. Before, I was saying that one of my hacks is that I just automatically set up Netflix to be paid by one of my credit cards every month, automatic every month. And then my bank account automatically pays that credit card in full every month. So I'm using that credit card, but the credit card is being used, but I'm not touching it. I don't use it. I never even see that credit card. It's in my wallet and I never touch it. And essentially just setting up automatic payment, automatic transfer, boom. That makes it so easy. Can you pay off one credit card with another credit card? You cannot pay it off, but you can do a balance transfer, which is where you say, okay, this credit card, I owe $1,000 and this credit card, I owe 0. But this credit card is offering me a 0% APR if I move money into that credit card with a balance transfer. So I'm going to move the $1,000 that I have on this other credit card. I'm going to balance transfer it to this new credit card. I'm going to get 0% APR, which is 0% interest for, let's say, 12 months. And then the other credit card is going to be at 0 balance. So now you pay that one off. That one's good, 0. And the next one, you can set up monthly payments for the next 12 months until it's down to 0. And then boom, you don't have to pay interest. As long as you set up monthly payments, automatic payments every month, you're going to be good. So that's a balance transfer is a good way to move money from one card to another, but you will have to pay a fee. Some balance transfer fees are 3%, sometimes 4%, sometimes 5%. So you have to really make sure you look at those numbers. I would say anything that's more than 3% is probably too much, because a balance transfer, I've never really seen people charging more than 3%. So if you're getting charged more than 3%, that hurts. That's too much. You talk about student loans and the credit score dropping off after you pay it. Yep, I talked a little bit about that. Basically, what it is that you now have a closed account. It's not active anymore. It's been closed out. You're not getting any monthly reports of making payments on time consistently. So it takes off a couple points, 5, 7 points, 9 points. Anything that's not like 10 or more points, it's not a big deal, is what I was saying earlier. So I wouldn't stress too much about it. Definitely focus on paying off your student loans. Do the right thing in terms of getting rid of the debt, because it might your credit score might drop a couple points, but eventually, a couple weeks, couple months go by, it's going to go back up eventually, because it's just a minor little setback because you closed an account off. Not a big deal, I would say. What does a healthy credit card portfolio look like? Oh, that's a good question, Emily. Well, I would say a variety of cards, because it doesn't make sense to have like 4 cards that all give you travel perks unless they're slightly different travel perks, because otherwise you're not going to be able to maximize all the travel benefits of one card, because you're trying to split up your spending across all 4 cards to try to meet the travel benefit, milestones requirements on all the cards. It kind of doesn't make sense. You're acting against each other on each card. So the best thing to do is try to diversify, have like 1 or 2 cards that you focus on for one thing, like travel. Another card that like you use it for a specific thing. Like for me, when I was in college, I got my laptop with Apple at the Apple store, and I financed it using an Apple credit card. That Apple credit card, whenever I use it for Apple products, either online or at the Apple store, I will get like points, a lot of points. Whenever I hit a certain amount, they will send me gift cards in the mail. And every time I get these gift cards, I just stack them up. I forget about them. And then when Christmas comes, you better believe I'll be giving out these Apple gift cards. And people love those because they can go onto the App Store, add the code, and all of a sudden they'll have $25, $30 in their account that they can use to buy apps, to buy games, to buy, whatever apps they might be like, oh, I want this app, but it costs $3, $4. It's annoying. So if you have a balance in your App Store, then you can, basically just buy a couple apps. So I always just collect those cards. That's an easy one from the Apple store. But for me, it's not a big deal, but it's nice to get that extra perk. So I wouldn't get another card like that. Like I wouldn't get another card that gives me points at a store, because I'll just use the Apple card for that. Especially if it's digital or if it's like an Apple competitor. And then I have, what other cards do I have? If you're really loyal to a specific airline when you travel, it's always great to get their specific card, especially if you are very, very loyal, like you generally always fly that particular airline. It just depends. I would say it depends on your interests, what you like, what you do. If you like to eat a lot, look for restaurant cash back. If you drive a lot, gas. If you drive a lot to places, or you drive for work or whatever, cash back for gas. Like trying to mix it up so that you have the things that you use the most are getting you cash back or rewards points in those particular areas that match your budget. Do I have a plan to, do I have to plan a balance? Do I have to have a balance? I was like, plan a balance. Does it have a balance when it's the statement date, or can I pay it off beforehand? You can always pay your bill anytime beforehand if you want to. And it doesn't hurt you at all to pay early. The only thing is that you do want to make sure that when your statement comes, when your bill comes, that you owe a little something every now and then. Because if you always pay your bill early, every single time the bill comes, it says 0000, technically it's not reporting that you had an amount on that bill due and that you paid it. So it's nice to at least once in a while make sure that your bill shows that you owe $20, $15, $30, whatever amount, and then you make sure you pay it by the due date. After the statement comes, by the due date on the bill. Tips for rebuilding credit to qualify to buy a home. Great question, Natasha. I would say focus on the big 3. The big 3 is 3 things that you can do. 1 is make sure that if you have any negative things on your credit report, that you dispute them. It's very annoying to dispute any negative stuff on your credit report, but if you get lucky and they remove it, great. Like you'll be able to just like not have credit and not have that thing on your credit report. It'd be like a really easy thing for you to basically take advantage of. But you have to write letters. You have to like go back and forth with them. And so it's kind of annoying. And a lot of people go like, I don't have time for that. I'm just going to pay for a credit repair company to do it for me. But you got to research, because a lot of these credit repair companies have scammed people for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you got to make sure you do research. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has a great website that talks about making sure that how do you know that a credit repair company is legit and is not going to scam you. Okay. Don't go on Instagram to find a credit repair company. Don't do this. Like do your research, make sure that they are, in good standing with good reviews with the Better Business Bureau and FTC standards are met, that like they have quality, customer service and past customer stories. It's really hard to find a good credit repair company because a lot of them are sketchy. So it's best to just do it yourself if you can. If you really don't have the time to be typing letters, putting them in the mail, certified mail, 30 days later, you have to check if they responded. If they didn't, you're entitled to call them and let them know that they didn't respond within 30 days, and then they automatically have to wipe it. You have to learn those rules, write the letters, type the letters out, get the certified mail, send them. It's a lot. It's a process. So if you have the time and you can do it, do it. You can do it yourself. Just literally Google how to do it and dispute any collections, any negative remarks. That's the first thing. The second thing is any like really high debt that you have on credit cards right now, go ham. Like you need to seriously start thinking about ways to generate money really quickly so you can pay off those debts, because high credit card balances is what hurts your credit score the most. So if you have a credit card with like a $5,000 limit and you owe $4,000 on it right now, woo, you better find $3,500 and pay it down so that you only owe $500, because $500 is 10% of your $5,000 limit. That is the hardest thing. And for me, it took me 2 years to do that. It was just a process of sending money every month as much as I could, tutoring, babysitting, every side gig, side hustle job I could pick up, bam, and every extra dollar. So if it doesn't have to be overnight. Like there's just a lot of pressure to pay off debt really fast. If it's going to take a little longer, that's okay. But just know that the longer it takes you to pay down credit cards, that's the longer it's going to take for you to see that impact on your credit score that will help you to qualify for a home. The other last thing I was going to say was age of credit really helps. So if you can have anybody add you as an authorized user to give you more age, that's a great thing. And then debt to income ratio. Whenever it comes to for people to increase their score for a house, increase your income any way you can, decrease your debt any way you can. That's that relationship. The farther they are apart from each other, more income, less debt, the better your profile is going to look to the loan officer who is looking at you to lend you that mortgage or not. I didn't know that. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you learned something new. What are your investments in your Roth IRA, regular brokerage? Could you talk specific stocks? So I don't own individual stocks. I am a index fund girl, exchange traded fund girl. I own all of the total stock market funds. So total stock market Vanguard and the exchange traded fund for that as well. So I think the codes are like VOO, VTSAX. I would have to look at them again, but basically the ticker symbols, I said codes, the ticker symbols, basically total stock market index from Vanguard is what I put in much all of my accounts. I have some where it's the S&P 500 index fund or exchange traded fund. That one is VFINX for the index. And I forgot what it is for the ETF. But anyway, the cool thing about exchange traded funds that I really like is that they are better for taxes. You don't have to pay taxes as much as you do with index funds. In retirement accounts, it doesn't matter either way because your retirement accounts are tax sheltered for the most part. So you don't have to worry about paying taxes until you retire. So if you have exchange traded funds or index funds or individual stocks or whatever in your retirement account, it doesn't really matter because the retirement account is kind of like a shelter that protects you from having to worry about taxes until you take the money out at retirement. So that's what I would say. And then what else did you ask? My brokerage account, my regular brokerage account. Oh man, I guess I could check real quick. I have apps for everything. So I use Vanguard for my 401k. I started with Betterment for my traditional IRA, and then I moved it to Vanguard. And then I have Wealthfront for my general investing, just like a regular brokerage account where I just have exchange traded funds in there. So I guess I could check real quick. Let me see. I love the Wealthfront app, by the way. It's so great. And again, not sponsored. I should say that for everything. I'm not sponsored. I'm never ever sponsored when I talk about these things. I'm like, I just like them. Okay, so for stocks, I have 35% is allocated to stocks. Which ones? VTI, which is Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. Okay, so I said VOO. I don't know why I said VOO. Yeah, so VTI. That's the other exchange traded fund that I invest in. So that's pretty much all of it. I'm just a total stock market index / ETF total stock market everything. That's all total stock market everything. That's like how I invest. And S&P 500, they're both fine. How do I raise my credit score? 3 things. Pay your bills on time every single month. Pay down your debt if you have debt on your credit cards right now, and try to get somebody with way more years of credit than you to add you as an authorized user. Bam, you will see points immediately. I have 3 cards combined, $70,000 credit limit, but one of them doesn't seem to want to go up in my imbalance without doing a hard inquiry. Yeah, I hear you on that. I have an 820 score and I don't want a hard inquiry. Advice: call the other 2 and ask them if they can increase your credit limit. Because honestly, if you get a hard inquiry for that, you're going to see your 820 drop to like an 815 or 814, which is so annoying, but it will, because you have a hard inquiry and the hard inquiry is going to stay on your credit report. It's going to affect your score for a year and it's going to stay on your credit report for 2 years. So I don't know. I'm more conservative. I'm the type of person that's like, well, when it comes to credit, I'm the type of person that doesn't think the hard inquiry is worth it. So I don't know. That would be my advice, is to just try to push the other 2 cards to see if they will increase your limit. But it's hard. It's hard because right now it's the middle of a pandemic. So these credit card companies are hurting just like us. So they don't really want to increase your credit limit. They're going to be like, why? So you could go, spend money on all this stuff and then not pay us back. And then we're stuck with this, with this loss. So yeah, that's what I would say. Are you with Vanguard? I am not with Vanguard. I do invest with Vanguard, but I don't work with them in any capacity. No, I do not. Your videos are great. Thank you so much. So much information. You're welcome. Thank you for watching them. Thank you for joining me live tonight. Oh, yes. Cutie Pie Mania 45 says, check out the investing playlist. I have an investing playlist on my channel, and I also have a credit card playlist. Both of those are great if you want to like go over a lot of the basics, a lot of the information that I talked about. I'm trying not to focus too much on the investing questions because this is a credit Q&A, but I see a lot of them. How do you check if you have something in collections? Great question. You got to check your credit reports. The easiest way to do that, to get it for free, is to go to annualcreditreport.com. And it's kind of annoying because you have to go to each of the 3 credit bureaus. You have to log into each one of the 3 credit bureaus, create an account, log in, and request to see it. And it pops up on the screen right away. So you can see your TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax credit scores right there. And basically it's like the only way to get like your legit credit reports without having to pay. And you get it for free. I think because of the CARES Act, because of COVID and everything, you can continue to see it for a while for free every month. But other than that, usually it's about once a year that you can check it without having to pay, and it doesn't affect your score. But yeah, what you want to do is go to the section where it talks about collections and see if you have anything there. Negative remarks, collections, public records, and just make sure that there's nothing negative there. That's pretty much the only way to find out. Or you can use apps like Credit Karma or something like that if you want to check just like, real quick. But the official way is annualcreditreport.com. And that is like the only one that is like legit from the government. How can I double my money? How can I double my money? I wish I knew how to double my money. I would do the same thing. What are some great flips during quarantine? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever done any kind of like flipping culture where I buy something and then sell it for twice the price. But I would imagine, I don't know. I would imagine like online stuff is probably the biggest thing right now, like digital products, digital courses, things that are on, everybody's online on their computer right now. So it's hard to like flip physical things because nobody's trying to get your germs. Nobody's trying to catch COVID right now. Not yours specifically, your germs, but like other people's germs. So it's hard. Shop Quest for Less. Thank you so much for that super chat. You are amazing. Great live. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for your answer. Shout out to you from NYC. Hey, NYC in the house. All right, you guys. I think I'm going to do like 3 more and then I'm going to go because otherwise I'm going to be here till 9 p.m. Is it worth paying off your car or is it best to make the payments? Oh, that's a good question from Casey. I think it depends on if you need the positive payments to continue to be reported so that your credit is in good standing for a while, then it is okay to continue to make those payments. However, it depends on the type of loan that you have. If you have a loan that includes the fixed interest, the interest pretty much has been pre-calculated on your loan and you already know the amount and you're going to, just basically make payments until the last one is paid and your balance close to 0. That's different from the type of loan where like every month that you send a payment and then the next month they charge compounding interest. So if you pay it off sooner, you'll save money in interest fees. Some loans don't work like that. Some auto loans and some personal loans, the interest is built in to the loan amount, and then they break it down into how many payments for 4, 5 years, 3 years, whatever. And you end up just making the payments. So even if you pay early, it doesn't matter. You're not going to save yourself any money because the interest has been built into the loan. If that is the case, then there's really no pressure for you to pay early because it's not going to do anything for you in terms of saving you money. If you are going to save money by paying it off early because you're not going to pay extra compounding interest, then it might be worth it for you to run the numbers and see, hey, not only will I be done paying my loan early and I won't have to worry about the monthly payments, but I also will be able to save actual money, cash, that I won't be giving them in interest fees. So I would say it depends. Look at the type of loan that you have and see if you can swing it. If you have the extra money and it's literally just sitting in your account and you also have a separate emergency fund that you wouldn't be affecting, yeah, I would say, why not? Why not pay it off early and be done? It's going to feel good for you to be done with it. Somebody said, flip Pokemon cards. What? Pokemon cards? I really don't think anybody's trying to flip physical things like cards or phones or I don't know. Like, I really don't think people want to do that right now. Maybe some people do. You should make a Clubhouse account. I have a Clubhouse account. Follow me on Clubhouse at Miss Be Helpful and make a group about this. Absolutely. I'm not straining. Listen, I can talk for hours and hours. This is the thing about me. That's why I was like, let me just start doing lives because I could literally just keep answering questions. Should I transfer my debt to my own LLC account? I would say not to do that unless the debt was for your LLC, for that business, because your personal debts and liabilities cannot be protected by your LLC unless it was for the business. So for example, if I go and buy, I don't know, if I go get like a bunch of pedicures and I just keep putting them on credit cards and I never pay those credit cards off, I can't claim that that was my LLC. Getting pedicures has nothing to do with Miss Be Helpful. Like it wouldn't make sense. So it's really important to just be legit when you file your taxes and when you say something was for your business, make sure it was, because if you get audited and you cannot prove that that was a reasonable expense for your business, ooh, you're gonna be in trouble with the IRS. And I feel sorry for you because the IRS don't play that. They want their money. Do you recommend paying for deletion for bad debts? I have heard of that, Edward, but I have never done that myself. I would have to look into that because I'm not sure. I would think that for bad debts, you could probably just negotiate to pay it, but you wouldn't have to pay extra for it. You know what I mean? So paying for deletion would just be like, if I pay it down to 0 right now, do you confirm that you will wipe it all off of my credit report? And if that's the question, then absolutely yes. If they say you could pay an extra $50 to wipe it off, that's sketchy. That's sketchy because I don't think anybody should be getting charged extra on their debt to get it wiped off their credit report. There are plenty of businesses that would allow you to wipe it off your credit report just by you paying it in full. But you cannot assume they're going to do that. You have to get it in writing or, get them to say it verbally over the phone and write it down before you make that payment. Because the worst thing is you're assuming that if you pay it in full, they're going to wipe it off, but they never told you that. You assume that. You pay it and then it doesn't get wiped off your credit report and now you're upset, but they never told you they were going to do that. So you have to confirm beforehand, call them up and ask them to confirm. Opinion on Self-Lender. I have a video about Self-Lender. I found out about them years ago before they changed their name to Self. I like them. I think credit builder loans are great and their fee is pretty low. So it allows you to save money and pay off your debt. And like create a debt that you pay off on time so that you build credit history. So I really like them. Please drop your Clubhouse. It's just Miss Be Helpful. It's the same as my YouTube channel. Just look for Miss Be Helpful. I haven't watched your videos in a while, girl. Your spirit and glow up is phenomenal. Thank you. Love your energy. Thank you, Emily. I really appreciate that message. That was so sweet. And it just like made me feel, like I'm glowing. Yeah, definitely follow me on Clubhouse. It's new and I'm trying to figure out how to kind of how to be on there. Like, what are the kind of conversations people want to be having? And I also just prefer YouTube because I've had YouTube for so long and people already know me here and you already know what I talk about. So I kind of feel like I like going live on YouTube. But what I could do is do both. Like right now, I could just go on Clubhouse and be talking about credit while I'm on Clubhouse and on YouTube. And that wouldn't be, that wouldn't hurt. So maybe I'll start doing that. All right, you guys, I think I'm done. It's 8:45 Eastern time. I'm about to dip out so that I can shower, wash my face, have something hot to drink, and get ready for bed. I'm an old lady. I like to go to bed early these days. And I want to try to do some reading before I go to bed. That being said, I did want to ask you guys, if you're still here live with me, thank you so much. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for asking me questions. All these questions are amazing. If I did not answer your question, either email me at missbehelpful@gmail.com, either hit me up on Instagram, or come back next week, because I'm going to do another Money Monday. Today I didn't do yesterday. I did Tuesday this week, but next week I'll do live Monday again at night. So 3 options if I didn't answer your question. And then I wanted to ask you guys to hit me up and tell me which people you want me to put on my podcast, because I have a couple episodes that I'm going to put out. But then after that, I'm looking for new guests that I want to interview and have conversations with about money. Right now it's been mostly women, but after March, like starting in April, I'm going to start mixing it up and having guys come on the show as well. So anybody that you think would be a really interesting guest to have on my podcast that talks about money, or that is an entrepreneur, or that has a personal finance journey or story of their own, let me know. Put them on my radar so I can invite them to my show. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. Caesar says to do an investing live next time. Okay, yeah, maybe next week I'll do my Q&A on investing. You guys have a lot of investing questions. Kamiko loved the budget mom. Oh, I'm writing that down, Emily. Listen, seriously, anybody that you guys think I should reach out to, let me know, because I'm literally looking for great guests to put on the show, because I have a couple different spots for the upcoming months. Oh, actually, I did meet Graham Stephen at where did I meet Graham Steph? I met him at FinCon, and maybe I'll reach out to him. We'll see. He's probably too busy for my little baby channel, but we'll see. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. I'm going to dip out. Thanks for those recommendations. If you have more, hit me up on Instagram or email me at missbehelpful@gmail.com. And for those of you coming back next week on Monday for another live, I will see you guys then. Peace out. And thanks to everybody who gave me a super chat tonight. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. It means a lot to me that you throw money at me, because I do this stuff for free, okay? Except for my little YouTube coin that comes in from, from the AdSense. But other than that, that's pretty much it. All right, you guys, that's all I got. Thank you so much. Have a great night.